You know, when I started to do this franchise, I didn't realize there was a third movie, so I thought, alright, this will be fun. I'm pretty sure I'll enjoy like the other two movies. Statham, you deserve better.
Hear me and hear me good, nigga. I'm here to double down. That shit is a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
But the movie starts off with two criminals looking for liquor on a ship. The ship is actually a toxic waste dump, and the container contains toxic waste, of course. And right here, less than 3 minutes in the damn movie, I hate the writing and acting direction, making me real excited for the rest of the movie. Like, listen to this shit.
I never smelled anything like this. Not even when you're in the grabber.
So it smells like shit and you still think there's liquor in there. Alright, that makes sense. Well, the two criminals are dead because they're stupid, and we switch to Francois. Bro, what the fuck? What's with all these flash transitions to nothing? Bro, this shit is killing me. I know they didn't just flashbang transition into the same shot. I'm going to hate the editing of this movie, ain't I? Which in turn, I'm going to hate the movie. I mean, fucking why? That scene shows us a guy getting through customs. Then finally, we see Frank, played by, of course, Jason Statham, with Detective Tarconi, fishing. Look, man, I'm not the biggest 5-0 lover in the world, but even I'm shocked that Frank is still free after the first two movies, sitting next to the man that should have arrested him. But whatever, movie's got a movie. Well, we go back to Random Dude when another traffic stop forces him into a high-speed chase with the cops. So this is where I really knew I wasn't gonna like this movie. For me, the editing is all the way trash. This chase scene has over 50 fucking edit cuts in less than 2 minutes, and the only reason why it lasted so long was cause this boring fishing scene was in the middle of it. What's worse was the fishing scene had less cuts, making it more cohesive than the car chase, which transitions to more dumbass flashes. Until we head to an airport where the villain in this movie lands to meet the minister. Well, not face to face, but secretly so that he can blackmail the minister into his environmentally toxic plans. We go back to Frank watching TV when an unexpected guest arrives. The moment we find out who he is, we go into a flashback of Frank turning down an offer to transport goods. Nigga, that's your whole job. Where the goons didn't like that, so they get ready to jump him, leading into our first fight scene. As a flashback, your first fight scene is a flashback. With the flashback filter, that's trash. Trash. So, sorry, I'm not breaking this fight down, but I will break down this editing and how it ruined the fight. Bro, there are more cuts in this scene than a full 8-hour shift at a barbershop. These are those fast ass cutscenes I talked about in my first intro.
The use of quick camera cuts get put into the fight scenes to make them look more exciting.
But so much worse. It's making me sick. Even the solo fight, this honestly looks stupid. I'm gonna throw up. But we go back to Frank trying to wake the driver up. And of course, he can't form full sentences, only cryptic phrases that doesn't make sense. And since he couldn't tell Frank that if he leaves the car he'll die, guess what? He dies. But Frank only found out because nobody noticed the girl in the back of the car, and when Frank finally noticed her, he finally got it. But it was too late as he gets knocked out. Bruh, this over-edited transition looks like one of them perfume commercials.
Beauty is mysterious and unexpected. It starts with confidence. Chanel, where beauty begins.
Frank wakes up and... Why? puts on some clothes, and gets greeted by the main villain who still wants him to take the job he previously offered him. He finally persuades Frank to take the job. That comes with those same explosive bracelets that killed the other guy and the same chick, who gives him the silent treatment at the beginning of the drive. Meanwhile, Tarconi starts investigating what happened at Frank's crib when one of the officers run into the bad guys and the evidence ends up getting stolen. It went from silent treatment to one-word sentences in the car, and Frank has had enough and pulls the car over. He tries one more time to talk to her so he can figure out what is going on, and she is still refusing to give him anything useful. So back on the road they go. Back to the minister, where he is still getting pressured by the people wanting their toxic waste to pass through his waters. He manages to buy another 24 hours before signing any papers. We go back to Frank taking a detour from the main mission to take a side quest to see if he can get those bracelets off, leading us to the average tech genius in any movie. But before he gets to try anything, some more henchmen show up to get Frank on the proper track. Frank tells them he's taking a lunch break, and they didn't like that answer. So first Buddy tried to "you got served" Frank before getting Sparta kicked back to the goons, where they then surround him and starts attacking all at once, and that's when I stop enjoying the fight, because the editing starts pissing me off too much to try and talk about anything else. The editing completely takes away from the fight scenes, continuing its ridiculous amounts of cuts. Which is sad, because if you look closely, like concentrate, you can see some decent moves being done by Statham. But I see the real reason for all this over editing. No one is doing shit in the backgrounds. They are just trying to cover up the bad guys in the back, just taking up space. If y'all can't choreograph these people, don't have them in the scene. That simple. That way I can enjoy my hands. Well, that's finally done, and it looks like we get a chance with a one-on-one with a boss level henchman.
You're the smart one?
No, I'm the big one.
After tossing him through a wall like a Looney Tunes character, I thought, okay, this should be a better one-on-one than last time. Then I see 7 cuts of them walking towards each other, and I'm like, now I'm dealing with terrible cuts and sped up clips. Now I'm convinced the first thing this movie sacrificed was the fights, because these cuts are trying so hard to make this bland one-on-one look good. Damn, I didn't think I'd be one of those content creators that was shitting on a movie, but here I am, because the transporter didn't want to stop after 2. I was cool with 2. But he is spamming the fuck out them hooks right now. But this mess is over, and Frank is back on the road. He lets the main villain know that he didn't appreciate that and will call him soon with new terms. Once he's at the designated spot, he gets a call pretty much saying he's fired.
Sorry, you see, since we had our little chat at the beginning of the mission, I've been thinking I don't need the best man for this mundane assignment. Any idiot with a driver's license will do.
Low-key, yeah. All of Frank's movies can be done with a taxi. Frank is the one that made these problems worse, but someone takes his car and drives off, leaving Frank there to blow up. But Frank isn't going out like that and runs shortcuts all the way back to his car. You already know I hate these cuts. Another reason is that it takes away from the scenery as well. I don't know how fast they're going, what's the distance, nothing. Just scene change, and scene ends. After another quick mess, Frank finally reaches Tarconi and catches him up and asks for help. Meanwhile, Frank calls the bad guy and...
Yes, Frank?
That wasn't very nice back there in the market.
You were the one who broke the rules, not me.
Point well taken.
See what I'm talking about? Frank rules never meant shit. He always breaking them. 0 stars on Yelp. Tarconi traces the call, and Frank again is on his way. Frank and Valentina have more small talk. It's honestly the top 3 of the most annoying things about this movie. It's another forced romance that should not work, especially how annoying this character is.
Boring. Oh yeah.
That song sucks. Frank gets gas and... See? Annoying and nasty. Frank's instincts was telling him to leave. His instincts were right. Alright, I can't even front. This aerial shot is pure fuego. Both cars catch up to these two trucks, and there are more cuts in this straightaway than two niggas in a sword fight. I'm going to be sick. Also, this stunt looks like we got Fast and Furious at home. Their chase leads into the woods, where Frank manages to quick cut his way into giving the other drivers the slip. Frank drives off somewhere to catch his breath when more of this forced romance occurs. The scene is drawn out way longer than it needs to be, so I'm just going to skip. After that, the bad guy calls the Prime Minister, telling him he knows that his men are chasing Frank, and that they finally reveal that the girl is the minister's daughter. But that was pretty obvious. The Prime Minister threatens him back by saying he knows who he is now, and the bad guys are trying to hurry up their plans. He tries to call Frank, but Frank is a little busy, looking into the sunset with the chick he just met that almost caused him to die numerous of times. He is now officially in simp mode. It's finally the next day, and Tarconi manages to catch up with the minister before his meeting. They are now following Frank and the bad guys, heading towards their meetup spot. They arrive at an empty bridge, and it's time for Frank to deliver the girl. Question: how pointless was this job? This man was around the whole time, said himself that the job can be done by anybody else. Frank wasted so much time, so it wasn't even urgent. And this is the third change in the destination. You could have stuck her in a room for 2 days and get the same effect. No difference. This movie's dumb. I mean, the other movies were dumb too, but they were like dumb fun. This is dumb. Well, of course he gets double crossed, causing Frank to drive off the bridge. Frank starts to MacGyver his way out. The bad guys take Valentina on a train to stall for more time until the minister is forced to sign a deal with the toxic waste company, which Frank is able to find before he signs. And lands right on top of the train, so the car is not too far away. Okay, last seizure-inducing fight sequence. I can do this. Shots are fired, Valentina gets away. Chaos, that's what I got so far. Valentina runs some more, Frank gets a gun, bang bang. More bang bangs. I'm starting to tune out. Once again, I know I'm not fleshing things out about this part, but this is the type of movie we are watching. Frank catches up with the bad guys and Valentina when he's finally too far from his car. There were so many guns back there that he could have grabbed, but he runs back to his car for another dramatic entrance. Frank is now in ass-whooping distance. A few hits here and a few edits there, and Frank is able to get the collar off, put it on him, and that causes him to lose to his own methods. Okay, that's my limit. Everyone is saved, contract is null and void, and Frank gets a girl. This movie sucked. Holy crap, I was upset watching this. Clearly a cash grab from the previous two movies. The editing butchered all of the action, which allowed me to ignore the dumb storyline. But I couldn't in this movie, so I was just upset. This movie's a 1 star. Terrible hands. The only reason why it's not a 0 is because I know Jason Statham can actually throw hands, and looked pretty good in the movie, but the editing just ruined it. The best fight scene in the movie was the damn editing. My eyes was getting whooped more than Jason Statham was kicking ass. The next movie I'm gonna talk about that's gonna make me feel better is SPL Killzone. Like if you like the video, subscribe if you like the content. Until next time, y'all be easy.